Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and we're doing my September TBR today. Well guys, it is already September. I'm not really sure what has happened to this year, specifically what has happened to August. That month it just kind of flew by, as you can tell by the lack of videos that I had out this past month. Unfortunately, I did not get nearly as many as I wanted done, but that's okay. I'm hoping to be a little bit more consistent in September. I know I say that every single month, but fingers crossed, this is the month this is going to happen. I have a lot of ideas already, and I'm very excited about what's going to be going up. I'm pre-filming a lot of videos, so hopefully that'll help me a little bit with, getting stuff done. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about my TBR for September. Now, I have a pretty ambitious TBR. If you watched my last video when I was talking about the Pop Sugar books that I needed to complete, I needed to get at least 4 of each, 4 challenges met each month, possibly 5. Which is a little bit daunting, but easily doable. So I'm going to talk about the books that I'm going to be reading, if they meet any challenges, and we'll go from there. Most of the books that I have on my TBR do meet challenges, which is great. I actually think I have 6, which would be good because then I can have a little bit of a breathing room. That's the plan. So I'm going to start with the 2 audiobooks that I have that I want to have read this month. Now, I have 2 road trips happening this month for a grand total of like 16 to 17 hours of car time. So that's a few audiobooks, in theory. So the first one I've actually already started, and that's going to be I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. And this is a true crime novel about trying to find the Golden State Killer. I've had lots of conversations with friends, especially after the whole news story broke about them finding him with DNA, but I haven't done a lot of research into that story and the crimes that he committed. So this will be actually a really interesting book. I'm very excited about it. And like I said, I've already started it just barely, like I'm on chapter 3 or something like that. So nothing crazy, but I'm excited to read it. So that's hopefully will be getting finished in the next week or so. The next audiobook that I would like to read is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Now this is going to complete the challenge for reading a book with a time of day in the title. I don't have this book physically, but it is on Scribd. Everybody is saying great things about it, and there's actually a lot of people on BookTube that are reading it this month. So while I'm not officially buddy reading it with anybody, it'll be nice to be able to talk about it, and once the wrap-ups come up, we'll be able to compare notes. So those are the 2 audiobooks that I have planned, or at least the sole audiobooks. I don't have physical copies or e-copies of those books. The rest of the books I do have physical copies of, and so while I may kind of switch back and forth with audio for any of the ones that I do have, I would like to try to at least physically read as much as I can. Because I'm a booktuber, I should read books. So the first book I'm going to be reading is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is a World War II novel, and it has Germany and Paris, Nazi occupation. This is going to complete the challenge to read a book about your ancestry, something like that. I am predominantly German, and so this is something that will be interesting to read. I love World War II books, so it's probably one of the few historical fiction books that I do tend to really like. So I'm excited to continue, it's a standalone, to read that book. The next book that I plan on reading in the month of September is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. And this is a time traveling book that has to do with a library and a spy that collects books from other alternate realities, important works of fiction from all different realities. There we go. I knew that phrase is in there somewhere. This is the book that I picked up at Powell's bookstore in Portland, Oregon, and it's just a really pretty book. This was a staff recommendation, and so when I found this book and then I realized that it would match a Pop Sugar book, challenge, I was really excited to read it, and then it's been 6 months that it's been sitting on my shelf. I haven't picked it up. So this will be a really interesting read, and I'm kind of excited about it because it's not really fantasy. Like, there's obviously some fantastical elements in it, but it's not like dragons and that stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with dragons, but it's just not a genre I tend to typically read. Now, if you'll notice, I don't have a ton of contemporary books on my TBR this month, which is probably surprising a few of you. Well, that is because I am participating in Contemporary-a-thon, so none of these books will be part of my Contemporary-a-thon TBR. I wanted to, that week is going to be specifically contemporary books, and so I'm trying to round out the rest of the month with maybe not so contemporary books, just because I want to be able to not get burned out. I love contemporary, but I don't want to get burned out by them, by reading them like all month long. So that week is specifically contemporary, and I will have a separate TBR for that, and then the rest of the month is going to be kind of different books. Now, that being said, this is actually going to be my only contemporary book outside of Contemporary-a-thon, and it's a YA. I feel like it's going to be a really easy read. It'll probably be the first book that I pick up this month, just because I know that it'll go out quickly, and that is How to Make Out by Brianna Shrew. This is completing the Pop Sugar Challenge for reading a book by an author of the same name, that has the same name as you. So this is a YA contemporary that it may even be like middle grade, I don't know, like look at the size of the words. So yeah, going to be a super quick read. It's under 300 pages, and obviously like I said, the type is very big, and this is about a girl who is a mathlete and is trying to raise money to go to this math competition, and so she starts this blog, like a how-to blog, and so that's just kind of this, and then I'm sure that there's going to be a boy involved, you know, I'm assuming, but I don't know anything about it. I literally looked on Goodreads for authors whose names were Brianna, and there's not a lot of them, and so that, this one just sounded interesting, and so it was like on Amazon for like $2, so that's why I got it, and okay, that's it. Alright, and then the next book has been on my TBR for months. I think this was in my January Book of the Month book, but that is Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas. This is a dystopian novel, kind of similar to Handmaid's Tale, and so it's a small town in Oregon. There are 5 women, and basically abortion is illegal. Red Clocks is at once a riveting drama whose mysteries unfold with magnetic energy and shattering novel of ideas. In the vein of Margaret Atwood and Eileen Myles, Lenny Zumas fearlessly explores the contours of female experience, invoking the Handmaid's Tale for a new millennium. This is a story of resilience, transformation, and hope in its tumultuous, even frightening times. So this is going to complete the challenge to read a book about feminism. Well, maybe I'm taking a little bit of liberty with that. I think that challenge maybe was talking about maybe reading like a biography or a memoir or something more nonfiction. I really, really wanted to read this book. It's just been sitting on my shelf, and so I needed a reason to read it, to be perfectly honest. So that's that. Yeah, it was my January Book of the Month. The last book does not complete a challenge. This is my book club's, it's not my book club, but it's a book club I am a part of, called the Book Junkies on Facebook, and it is hosted by Kylie, and her channel is the Book Gremlin. I will link her channel down below. She's a new booktuber, so you should definitely go give her some love. And she has this Facebook group that we do a book of the month. Well, we do a book every month. Here we go. And this was the book that was chosen for September. I'm really, really excited about it because it's not a book that I would have technically picked up maybe on my own, but it seems so interesting, and a lot of people have said it's a really good book club book because of like the discussions that it brings up. So that's interesting. I'm very excited about it, and that is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. If you are interested in joining the book club, I will put, I think I can put the Facebook group down in the description below as well. So if you're interested in starting this, we're going to be starting this actually today. So you know, you're not too late to start with us, and we're going to be reading it throughout the month, so obviously if you're watching this later on in September, you can still pick it up and join the conversation. So this book, it starts out by saying, if you knew the date of your death, how would you live your life? It's 1969 in New York City's Lower East Side, and word has spread of the arrival of a mystical woman, a traveling psychic who claims to be able to tell anyone the day they will die. The Gold Children, 4 adolescents on the cusp of self-awareness, sneak out to hear their fortunes. The prophecies inform their next 5 decades. Golden boy Simon escapes to the West Coast, searching for love in 80s San Francisco. Dreamy Clara becomes a Las Vegas magician, obsessed with blurring reality and fantasy. Eldest son Daniel struggles to maintain security as an army doctor post 9/11, and Bookish Varya, I'm going to tell you their name, throws herself into longevity research, where she tests the boundary between science and immortality. Nice if I could read. Both a dazzling family love story and a sweeping novel of remarkable ambition and depth, The Immortalist probes the line between destiny and choice, reality and illusion, this world and the next. It is a deeply moving testament to the power of story, the nature of belief, and the unrelenting pull of familial bonds. So, obviously, not a book that I would maybe have picked up on my own. And I say that, and I'm the one that actually recommended this book. But, like I said, I had heard a lot of things about it being a really good book club book. And so, I'm excited to pick it up, and I'm really excited to discuss it with other people rather than just reading it on my own. I think that's probably what's going to set it apart, is being able to talk to people about it. Alright, as with last month, I do have my TBR jar. I guess it's been a couple of months now that I have my TBR jar back. And so I'm going to choose 2 books out of here, which I know is a little bit crazy because that's going to make 9 books on my TBR. So that's a little bit ambitious for a month that there's a lot going on. But if I don't finish everything, I can always move it to October. Obviously, the ones that I have here will be my priority because those are Pop Sugar books. And then if anything else pops up here that could also be a Pop Sugar challenge, that will work for a challenge, then that will go up onto the priority. But other than that, these will be kind of the lower priority. They're just priority. I can't talk. Those will be a lower priority. But I have a lot of books on my shelf, and I have more on the floor here, and more on my shelf over here. And so, not all of them have been read. So, I would like to read books, that I own. So that's what the TBR jar is for. So, let's get started. So if you remember, pink is contemporary, orange is historical fiction or thriller, yellow is sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian, that kind of type. And then purple is either a YA book or a non-fiction book. So, let's see what I get. Alright, and so it's the fourth one. It is, so it means it's either historical fiction or thriller. Okay. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. So let me see if I can find it. So fortunately, this is a Stephen King book that is not a huge book. It's like a short story for him. Let me just read you the synopsis because I don't know a ton about it. This was a thrift store find that I found, and just kind of something that I'm like, well, I might as well start reading some Stephen King because everybody else is. So I thought this was a good one to start with. The brochure promised a moderate to difficult 6-mile hike on the Maine, New Hampshire branch of the Appalachian Trail, where 9-year-old Trisha McFarland was to spend Saturday with her older brother Pete and her recently divorced mother. When she wanders off to escape the constant bickering, then tries to catch up by attempting a shortcut through the woods, Trisha strays deeper into a wilderness full of peril and terror, especially when night falls. Trisha has only her wits for navigation, only her ingenuity as a defense against the elements, only her courage and faith to withstand her mounting fear. For solace, she turns to her Walkman to broadcast of Boston Red Sox games and the gritty performances of her hero, number 36 relief pitcher Tom Gordon. And when her radio's reception begins to fade, Trisha imagines that Tom Gordon is with her, her key to surviving an enemy known only by its Slaughtered animals and mangled trees in its wake. Okay, because that sounds creepy. But it's Stephen King, so I guess you can. Like, what did you expect? Alright, so let's try one more. Maybe it'll be a happier one. We'll see. Now that's technically considered a contemporary, and so I could possibly fit it into my contemporary-a-thon TBR. Possibly. We'll see what else we get. Alright, Purple, young adult, or nonfiction. And this is The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You. Let me go find that. Okay, so The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You by Lily Anderson. This is actually the same person that wrote Undead Cooking, which I have not read either, but I know that that's going around. I've heard very mixed reviews about this book. I've heard great things, and then I've heard not so great things. Okay, this could be fun. It's Doctor Who, so it has to be fun, right? Alright, okay. So that's a really ambitious TBR. So there's all of these books right here, plus the 2 audiobooks that I have. So that's slightly scary. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed my madness and craziness. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you hit that red button down below and let me know which book you are most excited for in the month of September. And I will talk to you down in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.